Helen, short people can be pretty too.
Flight 815 crash landed, but where? There's weird jungle noises and a polar bear. What the fuck is going on over there? Helen
And Alex
will guide you through. If you've seen Lost 20 times,
or if you're brand new,
welcome to our show. It's
Dharma Fish Biscuits. Hello, and welcome to Dharma Fish Biscuits, your new favourite Lost podcast.
We're your hosts, Helen and Alex. We're going episode by episode, spoiler-free, bringing you all the hot takes that you absolutely never asked for.
You can find us on Instagram at Dharma Fish Biscuits Pod. You can email us, please do, at dharmafishbiscuitspod@gmail.com. You can join our Patreon for free at patreon.com/dharmafishbiscuits for occasional inside info and bonuses that we may or may not have released by now.
Instead of going beat by beat, we aim to focus our conversation on the character that the episode centres around, then we'll circle back to what we missed.
This week, it's Helen's favourite. It's a Jack episode, Season 1, Episode 5, White Rabbit.
Do we put the jingle in here already? Perhaps. If Jack has no haters, I'm dead.
Okay, shall we head straight into the flashback?
We got to start with the flashbacks, baby.
Yeah, I don't care much for these flashbacks, but we can, I guess, note what happens. He's been beaten up, and it's quite boring, and I don't really care.
I don't have any
notes until the second
to
flashback.
say until the part where his dad gets involved, because Jesus Christ.
Yes. Let's just skip straight to... So flashback number 1, he gets beaten up. Boo-hoo, poor Jack. Flashback number 2, oh, here's his dad.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting, especially after what we talked about with alcohol a couple of weeks ago, that, like, the first thing we see before we see his face is just the alcohol glass. Like, it open, like, the first thing you hear the glass, hear the ice tinkling, like, before
it's the
scene
introductory
changes.
shot to the character,
And then the
is
first
whiskey.
thing you see.
Yeah.
Is the alcohol.
Yeah. Well, you know, he has his signature drink. What can you say? Okay, Christian, his name is Christian Shepherd, in case we haven't gotten that far in the show yet. Christian is a fucking psychopath. The way that he talks to his young son, his young son who has just defended his friend in a fight, and is like, well, you shouldn't have done that because you don't have what it takes. And this whole, like, spiel that he does about how when I kills a child on my operating table,
I come home and I chuckle at Carol Burnett.
I can live with it because I have what it takes. And I was like, wow, it almost sounds like you shouldn't be a doctor, actually.
Yeah, there are, like, many levels to how awful this is. It's like, the moral of the story is, like, don't care about anyone, but then also you're a shit piece of work because you've cared and stood up for your friend. Like,
I mean, it's kind of just like the dialogue that is written does not make any sense in the context of the scene that is happening, but it's kind of like we just have to have him say these things so that Jack can have this baggage, so that it will, like, come back for him in the present day. Like, it's a little too clunky, I think, and it makes Christian's character, like, unbelievably, like, unrelatable because he just seems psychotic.
Yeah, I hate him.
But a little note that I made, I'm guessing he was traumatized by his own childhood. You know, let's take a beat and think about what was Christian's dad like towards him.
Hurt people.
Where did he learn these messages from?
Do we ever see Jack's grandparents?
No. Oh. But we do meet his mum, who's about 3 years older than him. I would guess by looking at the actress who was cast.
Great. Yeah, well, speaking of his mum, shall we go on to flashback number 2? Or
Let's do
3?
it.
Okay. His dad's gone. His dad has left. And his mum is being like, hey, go and get him. And Jack's like, no.
I 100% thought at first, like before I remembered the whole context of what was happening, and we just see him there in his hoodie, I was like, Are they making an attempt at doing like teenage Jack? Is he meant to be much younger here? But no, he just wears a hoodie. I don't think of him as a hoodie wearing guy, to be honest. But maybe that's just because he doesn't have a hoodie on the island.
No, but even like, I feel like every other time we see him off island, it's like...
He's not a hoodie guy. They just hadn't fully, they haven't fully figured out his character at this point, so that's how they could make such an, unbelievably incorrect assessment of what he would wear.
And maybe also, as you say, it helps to make him look slightly younger when
but this is supposed to be present day.
When facing his mum, who is 3 years older
than
him.
I see. Yeah, there was that element of it. Sure.
I'm just Googling how old the actress actually is.
We don't see much of his mum in the future, right? I don't remember any other time we encounter her.
Oh my god. She was 60 when this was filmed.
Flex.
I can confirm she is in 2 further episodes of this TV show.
Okay, that's not much.
And I will close Wikipedia now. Also, big setting up of her being like, you, after what you did.
Oh yeah, we get some hints dropped about that Jack has caused a rift between himself and his father. And that also Christian doesn't have many friends left after what Jack did.
Yeah. Which obviously, at this point, we don't know what he did, but it's sort of like, well, from the minimal flashbacks we've got,
I'm on Jack's side.
Maybe Christian deserved.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the rare occasion where Helen will take Jack's side.
Next flashback.
You get the worst Australian accent of the show thus far.
Sydney with the concierge. Yes, that is one terrible, terrible Australian accent.
The maid says he hasn't used the bad. Oh, great.
Yeah, it was rough.
But also like quite a tragic scene just generally. Like they've really gone to town with being like, how can we make it very obvious that he's having a breakdown? Oh, here's some pills on the table. Here's the drawers full of alcohol. Here's the wallet he hasn't taken with him. They're like simply economized storytelling.
Yeah, and it's like the concierge he's doing that customer service thing where you're like, I'm going to tell you the truth, but as soon as you push back on it, I'm going to back down and pretend that I have respect for you as the customer. Where he's saying, no one will rent a car to him in his condition. And Jack's like, my father's the chief of surgery. Of course, sir. That is how he sounds. He sounds way more British than Australian.
Yeah. It's interesting that, like, Jack does get sort of so defensive about him, given that, like, this whole thing is about... Obviously, we don't know what's happened, but we know that something has happened that's caused a rift.
And it is interesting that given what we know has happened, that he, like you say, that he's so quick to defend his father from this accusation. Yeah. But I think also, like, defending Christian is also self-defense in this case, because if Jack has caused things to become so bad for Christian that he has fucked off to Australia and is, like, on a bender and has disappeared, then, like, that's not going to feel good for Jack. So
yeah, I guess. Also, I assume there's probably some element of guilt there as well.
That's probably a more succinct way of saying what I was saying. But I think it's sort of the guilt that leads to your sort of, like, being defensive.
Yeah. Anyway, Jack goes to the morgue. His dad's dead.
Yeah. He's at the airport later, trying to convince Chrissy to simply ignore the rules that say that you have to have paperwork about a dead body because he's sad.
Yeah. And also, I hate that he's like...
works.
He's like, I have to do this. This has to be done. You know why this has to be done? Because I need it to be done. It's like, I really thought he was going to give her some, like, actual justification. He's like, because I need it.
It was really poor.
Okay,
like,
great.
I mean, I think anyone who's worked in customer service will feel Chrissy's pain here, where the only answer you can actually give is, like, as I've already said, there are rules about taking dead bodies on flights, and I'm very sorry for your emotional pain, but it actually doesn't change the fact that these rules exist for a reason.
Yeah, I don't remember if we get any more of this, or, like, find out how the body did get on the plane, or whether it is just literally this worked. In which case, that's quite insane, because it's presumably some, like, real health and safety / customs/visa/
Chrissy is fully losing her job over this.
Yeah, you can't just be like, well, this guy said he actually needed it to be done, so I simply had to do it.
He's also so patronizing the way he talks to her and like checks her name badge and then uses her name. It's like, all right, guy.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make you smart.
I really hate that. As someone who has worked, who deals with customers and has previously worked in places where like you have name badges, nothing will piss me off more than when someone like looks at a name badge and it's like, right, here we go. Come on,
I have
Alex,
something on you.
Help me. I'm like, stop. You don't know me. Also, do they tend to take coffins on commercial planes? Like I sort of.
I guess that's why they need the paperwork.
But I mean, this is my ignorance. I
Why
sort of
didn't you
assumed
ask
they were
Connor?
like, that's true actually, and I will check with.
Do you
him.
not have Connor's corner for this episode?
He didn't have there wasn't like an awful lot of aviation or medical information that he had to share with us this time, I'm afraid.
Wow. Okay, that's that on the flashbacks.
Wait, one more thing. Did you notice who was at the next counter in the airport?
No.
It was Arzt.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and I think that's the first time we see him, which I thought was pretty cool because, like, obviously in my head, he only really comes into play, like, right at the end of the season. And it's like, oh, I wonder if they planned that or if they were just, like, had a random extra and were like, oh, we need someone to do a few more lines, so we'll pick this random extra who has been in scenes previously. But yeah, he is there as Jack is, like, he's giving Jack the real side-eye as he is losing his shit at Chrissy.
Oh, I can't believe I watched this episode 3 times and didn't catch that. That sucks.
Well, there we go.
But I'm glad you did. That's fun. I hope it was like an intentional thing on the part of the writers to just be like, we can start dropping these breadcrumbs here.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we head to the island?
We're going to head to the...
Back to the island.
Back to the island. We're going to need to inaugurate this plot line with a new jingle. Swimming in your jeans jingle. Because this is one of the, much like the cutting up of the water bottles, which we will have to talk about again later.
But yeah, with that, well, it's a
this is one of my real
episode.
pet peeves on Lost, the way that people are like in an emergency situation and they'll just like dive into the water to show the seriousness of the emergency, but that means they're swimming in their jeans, which is like the absolute single worst item of clothing you could possibly wear for swimming. There's an emergency in the sea, better go swimming in your jeans.
Yeah, I can't remember if I made these notes before or after you and I had this conversation, but in my notes, indeed, I did write, denim is so much heavier than a shirt. Why would you take it? This is the thing that like most irritates me is the inconsistency. Like if you're gonna go in all your clothes, then like fine, you're going swimming in all your clothes. If you're gonna take your shirt off, then you're taking your clothes off. Take them all off. I mean, maybe not all of them. But, like, I don't know. I don't understand why you would throw off your light linen shirt that's barely going to weigh you down at all, but be like, these heavy denim jeans.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, what is happening is someone is drowning in the water. Charlie is calling Jack for help. And he gives us the iconic line, I don't swim.
I don't swim.
Doing kind of like a bit of his Lord of the Rings accent on there, I feel like. But it also like opens the door to a question that will plague the series, which is, can Charlie swim? And if so, how well? Because...
Well...
Or do you think it's just canon that he can't and doesn't swim?
This has irritated me since the first time I watched Season 3, Episode 21, Greatest Hits, where he's counting down the 5 greatest moments of his life. And what's number 5 on his list? When Dad taught me to swim at Butlins.
Yes, because I remembered there was a flashback with him as a kid in a pool, but I didn't remember what happened there. So, okay.
He's being taught to swim. And he literally writes on his piece of paper, Dad teaching me to swim.
So canonically, Charlie can swim. I was connecting it back to when he was talking to Shannon in one of the previous episodes, trying to impress her. And he basically, I think he talks about like he was like a champion 200-meter swimmer.
Oh,
did I make that up? We can check.
I think you might. Oh, in season 3, he tells Jack that he was a junior swim champion in Northern England.
Okay, so so I'm probably not making it up.
No, you're just remembering a scene from season 3.
there are also other plot points that this will be a relevant conversation for. But essentially, we're just opening up the mystery box of Charlie. Does he swim? Can he swim? Will he swim? In this case, no.
No.
And neither will anyone else. Because
I think maybe for the whole show, Charlie will not swim.
There's this one moment where it really would have been good if he could swim. But we don't have to talk about that now.
We don't have to talk about that now. Yes, no one is swimming because there's a riptide.
Okay, so my thing is this, right? Boone went to save Joanna, R.I.P. Joanna. She drowned.
Yeah, we barely knew you.
We truly
quite literally
didn't know a thing about you. Boone went to save her. He is a lifeguard. We know this about him. He's absolutely the most qualified person to try and save someone from drowning. Jack swims out and saves Boone and pulls him back to the shore. Boone says to him, she's still out there. Did you get her? Whatever. And Jack, like, what bothers me is that absolutely no one else among all the other people in the group make the slightest attempt to do anything to help. I'm not saying that they should have swum out and tried to save Joanna, but if someone, a couple of people, had like at least waded into the water and come out and tried to like take over Boone from Jack, then Jack would have had a chance to go back and get Joanna.
I mean, they sort of take Boone from Jack as they get to the shore.
I'm not satisfied.
They like
with that.
take 3 steps forward and are like, well, since you're here now, we'll take you back.
My work here is done.
It's like a very Boone thing to be, like, as we've talked about many times. He wants approval. He wants to be helpful. He wants to be useful. So he's like, yes, I can do this thing. So I can see why he was the one who went out and did it.
But I also think this episode is a rough one for Boone because we've had him.
Oh yeah,
we've had him previously be positioned as like, yes, the kind of like he simply wants approval. He wants everyone to like him. But then he also has these moments where it's like the show is asking us to question, like, is he a good guy? Do we trust him? And the whole thing that's going to play out with the water is like another element of that is like, it feels almost as if they're trying to make his character more deep and more layered by sort of just like making very contradictory things happen around him. It may just simply be that like it would require an extremely talented actor to turn that material into a sort of deep and layered character portrayal.
Wow. Ian Somerhalder.
Shots fired.
Apologies on behalf of Helen.
Yeah, he's fine. He does a fine job, but he doesn't manage to make this kind of strange array of circumstances that he's been given. Doesn't really manage to make it feel cohesive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like the contrast between him and other people, both at the beginning and end of the episode, because at the beginning you've got him being sort of like this pale imitation of Jack and being like, you're not the only one who knows how to do things and I can help too, even though we've seen him quite literally fail to help this woman. And then at the end he's got that moment with Sawyer where Sawyer's like, how does it feel taking my place at the top of everyone's most hated list? And it's like, but he didn't intentionally try to piss everyone off, and he doesn't want to piss everyone off, so he's also not very good at being the Sawyer of the group. And so all it is just he's bad at all of the archetypes that they try to throw at him. I don't know what that means.
He's just trying to be a Boone, you know, like a positive, good thing to happen to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can move on.
Well, we have Jack and Kate talking. And, like, this was kind of nice when they actually talk about Joanna. And I did quite like this in terms of the fact that, like, obviously we're only seeing a really small portion of the survivors as our cast. It's really easy to look at the show and be like, oh, I see. So we're just following these 10 people. And I guess every action that happens, it just occurs with these 10 people and nothing else. And it's like, this sort of helps to portray that, like, no, actually, there are people all around. And to some degree, are our cast members just being very insular and selfish and being
cliquey,
like,
if you ask me?
Yeah, like, we're in charge and I know that we know the people that are all in charge and, like, fuck these other randos.
Yeah, it creates a much more interesting question about power dynamics and like group dynamics than I think the show is really interested in answering. Because you're right, like what we're seeing happen is that like a very small group of people have kind of established themselves as being the sort of top tier decision makers, and everyone else is positioned as
Yeah.
being sort of, they just want someone to tell them what to do, they just want someone to make a decision for them. I feel confident that if I were on the island, I would be among the B, C, or indeed D tier of people who are not making the decisions, but who are just like standing in the back bitching about the people who are making the decisions, and sort of
Oh, yeah.
saying like,
I was going to say, as previously discussed, catch me on the Z list reading my book on the beach.
At least we would have each other.
That's true. I also got the impression from this, like, I think it's quite interesting, as we have talked about Jack always wanting to be in charge and wanting to be the leader, it's kind of fun that here it's like, he doesn't seem to actually want to be in charge, and he's like, I didn't help Joanna, I didn't do this, and Boone is there being like, why didn't you leave me alone? Why did you do this? And Jack's like, almost like dissociating and is like, fuck all of this. And I wonder if maybe like he wanted to be helpful at the outset with the crash and was like, I can help save people, not necessarily wanting to like be a leader of a survival tribe. And now it's like, well, because you helped us on day one, we are now just like looking to you instinctively.
Unfortunately it's making me have
leader.
to question somewhat of my Jack insists on being the leader and then complains about being the leader rhetoric, because yes, in this episode people quite outright ask and expect him to be a leader, and he says he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want it, and he has to be kind of convinced into stepping up into that role. And it's as close as this island will ever come to a democratic process, and it takes the form of Hurley and Charlie saying, why don't you want to be the leader? And then Locke convincing him to do it.
Yes.
I also feel sad when it, and I mean, we're going to get to the speech at the end, which is iconic, and it has to be given its due.
Ooh.
Live together, die alone. I'm not saying that I don't like it, but I am saying, didn't Saeed just say all of this basically a few days ago? And are we just listening to it a bit more closely now that it's a white man saying it? He was the one to start organising. Jack just made a speech. That's structural racism on the island. Justice for Saeed.
Yeah, you are actually completely right, because this is when Saeed was like, you go and get the batteries, you go and get some water, you go...
Yeah, but I think it's also this sort of like the thing that we've talked about before, that even though Jack himself says that he doesn't want to be treated as authority, people insist on treating him as if he has authority in the group, and that is what gives him his authority, because he has some kind of perceived status.
Yeah.
Boone, in part of this discussion, when Boone kind of challenges Jack and says, why didn't you go back for her? I would have been fine, blah, blah, blah. One of his points is, I run a business.
Yes, I also noted that line.
It was quite funny.
At this point, I think we get to the real meat of the episode, which is Jack keeps seeing this guy in a suit, standing in the ocean, standing on the beach, and now when Boone is there losing his shit with him, he's finally like, well, bye, and just walks away and follows this man into the jungle.
Yeah, follows his white rabbit, his dead father. It's nice to be able to say that it is his dead father, and not just have to refer to a man in a suit.
A man. Well, the man turns around and it is indeed Christian. And just in case you don't have facial recognition from the scene that we watched 2 minutes ago, Jack says, Dad? So there's an awful lot of him running after his dad. He falls onto a cliff and falls down, and a magical hand appears, and who is it?
Locke.
It's Locke. And this is, I have to say, I think either my favourite scene of the episode or second favourite after Live Together, Die Alone. Like, this whole exchange between Jack and Locke, like, this is the shit I'm here for. This is what I love Lost for.
Locke shows up in the nick of time, kind of adding to Locke's lore, I suppose, of this person who seems to be a bit mystical in general and a bit sort of uncanny.
Yeah, I think this scene does an incredible job, especially off the back of last week, where last week we obviously got the reveal about Locke that he was previously in a wheelchair. We got him like looking at whatever the monster is, and seemingly like we didn't see the end of that scene. We just see him looking at it, and then next thing we know, he's on the beach and he's like, "What monster? There was no monster."
Yeah.
And just generally, and then this week, yeah, like the way he talks to Jack, everything he says, it's like real, you might say, man of science, man of faith talk.
It's giving man of
on.
science, man of faith when he's like, I'm a simple man, Jack. Meat and potatoes. I don't traffic much in the magic. I'm not directly quoting. This is just sort of generally what he says. And I was like, but you will, my friend. Man of faith.
Yeah. Well, I think we do already see Locke, because he says, I don't believe in magic, but there's something here. There's something special about this place.
And I think the way in which he has already been infected by the specialness of this place makes him extremely susceptible to kind of believing more or less anything in terms of what the island presents to him and the situations that he's going to be put in. He is an easy mark at this point in terms of what he has faith in.
This is very true, but I also really like the way he talks to Jack is like he doesn't come across as crazy woo woo. Oh, this place is simply magic. You should do what the magic island says. But like the way he quite rationally says to him, and he's like, "What do you think this is?"
Yeah.
And if he's like, "Okay, great, you think you're hallucinating, but what
Let's
if you're
consider...
not? What if? Let's consider." Yeah. And he says, "What if you're not hallucinating? What if everything that happens for a reason?"
Yeah, he has this nice line about crazy people don't know they're going crazy. They think they're getting saner, which is like kind of a nice... I don't know whether a like clinical psychologist would agree with that, but it rang true in terms of like the way that Jack is trying to deal with this very strange situation that he's found himself in.
Yeah, it's also quite interesting to think of in the context of Locke, where, as he says, he does think this place is special in some way, but he doesn't think he's crazy for thinking that. He thinks he's like tapped into something here.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you think you're getting saner, does that mean you are the crazy person in this?
Question mark on that one and come back to it.
Yeah, we'll put... and then of course we end with the classic, I've looked into the eye of this island and what I saw was beautiful.
Yeah, so it's nice.
What did he see, Helen?
It's
what did
nice
he see?
for us, the viewer, to get confirmation that he did look face to face with the monster. That's how we interpret this line. And it's fascinating that in some way he's on board with it. He doesn't see it as a monster. He sees it as something beautiful.
Yeah, it is fascinating because up till now it has just been the monster. And also, like, we've seen it knock trees down. We've seen it fucking make a mess of the pilot. Like, we have seen the destruction caused by the monster. And also, it's then interesting that, like, Locke came back and was just like, I didn't see anything. And he hasn't come and been like, you guys, it's actually really nice and beautiful, which I think suggests that he does still have some sort of hesitation there.
I think he's being careful about who he shares the information with. He wasn't going to tell Michael because he didn't consider Michael to be maybe a person to take seriously in this situation. But he sees Jack as one of the sort of like the A-team, the people who are sort of party to all of the information. And I think probably also with Jack being in the situation that he's in now, he can kind of trust that he will be taken somewhat seriously. Jack is also having a surreal, mystical, unexplainable experience. And also Jack doesn't know that he's referring to the monster because Jack wasn't aware of all that happening.
He could mean literally anything. Yeah, especially because Locke came back and was like, nope, I didn't see the monster. I didn't see anything.
I want to say, while they're having this conversation, Locke is like decanting a few drops of water from a leaf into a bottle, and he has never looked so happy about anything. He's just like, he's in his freaking element here. He's like, walk about, baby, I know how to do this. It's great. And then I also have a bit of thoughts around the conversation that they have about leadership.
Yes.
Jack sort of says, he has this thing about, they want me to be a leader and I can't do it, I don't have what it takes. And Locke gives him a real sort of pep talk and saying, that they need someone to lead them, and you need to finish what you started, and a leader can't lead until he knows where he's going, and all the rest of it. What I find interesting about this is that everyone is agreed on principle that Jack is the leader figure, but Locke is the one telling him that he should lead, how he should lead. It's kind of like the spin doctor behind the politician who really wields the power. If the one person is the leader, kind of de facto leader, but there's another person kind of influencing them. I was also thinking about this when we see him talking to Saeed and Kate. It's Locke that says, okay, with the doctor gone, you guys need to step up. You need to fill the kind of the leadership role now, because people expect to have someone to turn to. Who's the real leader if Locke is the one telling all the leader people what to do?
Yes. That is, I've never really thought about that, but that is interesting, especially like looking ahead to when there are more like leadership battles in the future of who should be leading them, and thinking about Locke's role there and whether he, like, how active or passive he chooses to be in these leadership battles.
I think
trying to dance around spoilers.
Yeah, I think Locke is very satisfied with being the sort of quiet power figure. He's not going to be voted Prime Minister of the island because people think he's a weirdo, and he has all these knives and he has all this kind of mystical shit going on, but he has the ear of the people who have the influence in the group, and he's not afraid to use it.
Yeah, I think that is true at this point.
Jack continues to follow his dead father and finds the caves. New location unlocked.
Well,
caves.
Prior to finding the caves, Jack picks up a flaming torch.
Hit the flaming torch jingle. Light 'em up. It's time to light 'em up. Grab your jungle torches. Light 'em up. Pretty dark, of course, so light 'em up.
So yeah, Jack takes his flaming torch. He follows his dad a bit more. There is a creepy doll in the river.
Yeah, bunch of them.
I feel like they were setting themselves up. Like, they were setting up potential plot threads that they could follow should they want to. Is my personal opinion.
Yeah, it is interesting because we truly never see those creepy dolls again.
Nope.
All it does is it kind of like makes him stop and notice, oh, there's some parts of the plane. Oh, look, there's my father's coffin. But this does come back to something that Connor told us in an early Connor's Corner, which is that commercial flights will also carry freight. So this is just like...
That's true.
Like that there's a bunch of creepy dolls. It's just like someone's using that passenger flight to like ship their creepy dolls. It's actually not that strange, apparently. Although it would have struck me as very strange if I hadn't known that little fact.
So as you've mentioned, there is the casket. We open the coffin, and what's in the coffin, Helen?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's empty.
I just want to go back to the dolls for a sec.
I'm so sorry. Go back to the dolls.
I was just thinking that, like, the idea of finding a bunch of identical items from a plane crash and
an interesting idea to explore.
Well, it's going to come back as a concept later in the show, and I feel like they do it in a much more thought through and interesting way then.
Anyway, there's an empty casket.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, there's an empty casket. But I just want to point out, Jack finds the dolls in a pool of water.
Yes.
we cannot like gloss over this. He's saved everyone. He's found a source of fresh water on the island. Does he take a drink? No, he fucking doesn't. How thirsty?
No.
This guy must be so thirsty.
He's got more important things to do.
And he just fully is like, oh, nice. And then continues to like investigate this father's coffin situation. Take a friggin' drink, Jack.
He's got more trauma to be. He needs to focus on his trauma first. Trauma first, thirst second.
Yeah, he finds the father's coffin. It is empty. And so he simply hacks it to pieces.
That wood could probably have come in useful somewhere. Famously, Saeed wanted them to look for firewood last week.
Yeah.
Could you not maybe have taken some of this wood instead of just being like, well...
Also just like, you know, having like larger pieces of sort of planks and flat, you know, that's the sort of thing that would come in handy for building shelter, you would think, but...
That's true. Or indeed building anything that you might wish to build.
Trauma comes before carpentry. And then it's... should we jump straight to speech time? He shows up, he interrupts the ongoing fight that is happening related to the water. And he says, among other things, if we can't live together, we can die alone.
We're going to die alone. Every man for himself is not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah,
the whole thing, like, it's got its place in the Lost Pantheon, and I think it fully deserves it.
Yeah. I think also, like, it is a speech that is, it's not necessarily the most natural words to say, and Matthew Fox does do a good job of delivering it in a way that sounds at least somewhat like a thing that a person could say. And it is iconic, of course it is. Live Together, Die Alone will become a credo of the show.
Yes, although it does always strike me as quite funny that what he says is, if we can't live together, we're gonna die alone. So he's really saying live together or die alone. But it sort of gets contracted to simply
yes, live together, no, die alone.
Oh, die alone. But it gets contracted to just live together, die alone, which sort of sounds like they're two simultaneous statements. Live together and die alone. And it's like, that's quite the opposite of what he was saying. I also just think in terms of like the pacing and plotting of this, like looking at the season as a whole, this is like a really big step and it's a really well-timed step. And I don't know if it's just like watching it with Connor and seeing it with fresh eyes for the first time, but being like, okay, the first episode, the pilot is like immediate survival. Episodes 2, 3, 4 are like sort of immediate and also like, oh, now we need to think about like spending the night and like, but it's still with the focus on, it's still focusing on how do we keep ourselves going until the help comes. And now in end of episode 5, we're finally getting like, okay, we really need to rally round.
We need to have the big questions now. People.
Yeah. He's like, we're waiting for someone to come, but what if they don't? We need to do things. You're right, we need a society.
Anything more to say on that business?
I don't think so.
We're halfway through the podcast. We talk a lot, we know. Why not take this time to write a review? It helps more people find the show. Or pop us a little email, or simply tell a friend. We're gonna need some listeners if we're to make it from the pilot to the end.
So one of the first things in the episode is Walt cleaning his teeth. And Michael says to him, don't swallow the ocean water. And Walt's like, oh, why not? He's like, just don't swallow it. And it's like...
This is
come
crazy.
On, like, that's a pretty reasonable question for a child.
It's also like, I'm sorry, but like, Walt has been living in or around Sydney for a few years. He has interacted with the ocean. He knows that it's salty. Yeah. And also, it's not like a difficult explanation to say to your kid, it's salty. That's why it makes you thirsty. Yeah. Salt makes you thirsty.
And then speaking of thirst and water, Jin and Sun, where Jin tells her she needs some water. She got dry lips. And I don't know, this is the first time we're starting to see more of their like almost like locking horns, because she's like, we should maybe try harder to communicate with people. And Jin just like shuts her down and is like, no, I'm going to tell you what to do. And like he wants to keep themselves completely isolated. And she's like, but the the people. They're having their own like mini live together, die alone.
Yeah, that's so true. And like we'll see later on that when the others try and talk to them and they talk to them in English, even though Jin absolutely doesn't speak any English, he's still able to communicate with Saeed, I think it is, who's talking to him.
Yeah.
And there is clearly like the language barrier doesn't have to be a total barrier to communication and understanding. I mean, just look at Sun teaching Walt, like you said. But I think it's interesting, especially for those of us who know a little bit more about the Sun and Jin backstory, to see him in this role saying, I'll tell you what to do. We don't have to wait for someone to tell us what to do. Because if you are watching the show for the first time, it seems very like, oh yeah, this is totally... We've seen him kind of being quite domineering in all of his appearances up to now when it comes to Sun. He seems to be like a really classic sort of conservative, wanting to control his wife figure. But I think for those of us who know them and their story a little bit better, there is some more depth to what's going on here, and their different kind of positions of power and privilege in their relationship are like quite an interesting knot to unpick, especially given that he wants to simplify it so much and just say, I'll decide, and she is kind of like giving him a bit of the side eye and being a bit like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Sawyer gives us an incredible line, "You're in my light sticks," to which says, "What's light sticks?" It's incredible. It's just like, it's like a tiny moment, but it brings me so much joy. And he's like, light, comma, sticks. Your legs. He's reading Watership Down, has to be mentioned.
Oh, yes. Also, I have to say, I didn't really understand this exchange at all.
I feel like this script had gone through a few versions and never quite gotten to a version that works.
Like, I think
the way that
idea...
she is going to get the bug spray from him.
Yeah.
And he sort of is like, you can give me $5,000. I know you're good for it. And he puts a bit of sexual innuendo in there. Agreed. When he goes, I know you're good for it.
Oh, was it the sexual innuendo?
It's meant to be sexual innuendo.
I was like, why is he talking like that? I know you're good for it.
I think he means sex.
You're good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, the script needed another pass in order for this to actually work.
But also then, like, I also just didn't really understand.
She's so offended that she just throws the bottle back. It's like, you needed that, though.
Yeah. It's like, she comes and it's like, what do you want? And he's like, nothing. And she's like, come on, you want something? And he's like, yeah, give me $5,000. I'm like, if he's like, why would he say nothing? Because
terrible negotiating skills.
And then why would she be like, come on, let me give you something? And why would he say $5,000? Like, none of this makes any sense.
I think there's a lot of like the kind of sexual economy playing in here in a way that is unspoken. So when she's like, oh, come on, you must want something, she's kind of half expecting him to say, all right, I want a kiss or whatever. So that then she can be kind of outraged or like sort of be like, oh, well, I suppose I'll kiss you then just to get the bug spray. And then like he doesn't do that, and so she doesn't really know what to do, but then he kind of does do a sexual innuendo thing, and then she's like, oh, now I'm outraged. It was... I actually wondered whether the reason why they kind of held back on him being like, I'll give you it in exchange for a kiss, is because he actually doesn't really fancy her, and he much more has his eye on Kate, and we're going to see a bit more of that sort of dynamic come through with Kate.
That is very true.
Later on.
Ooh. But also, Sawyer does not particularly strike me as a one-woman man.
No, but I think he finds it fun to sort of like tease Shannon about the idea that he wants to have sex with her, but I don't think he actually wants to have sex with her. I also want to point out Shannon's incredible, enormous hoop earrings. This is a woman who wakes up every day on the island and has an outfit. She's like, I'm going to do this little floaty top, I'm going to do the earrings, and I'm going to do like a mini skirt, and I'm going to do these sandals. Like, you know, she's putting thought into it. She's living in her own version of this reality. Yeah. That's kind of unique to her, I would say. Meanwhile, Kate is sorting the clothes and quite pointedly picking up a little sort of vest top of the type that Shannon might wear and putting it in the not practical pile. I actually kind of take exception to that. I think that you want to have little vest tops because you want to be able to use lots of layers in an environment like this.
Yeah, also it must be pretty fucking hot, surely.
Can we talk about how cute Claire looks in that little bucket hat?
Oh my god. Claire is, like, everything about Claire is just the most adorable. The bucket hat, even I personally don't believe in astrology, can't bear it, but her offering to do Kate's chart is so sweet. And when Kate's like, and when she's like, or not, Geminis.
Yeah, it's really adorable. She's really playing her role here of being the sort of like the beam of light that spreads her goodness onto the people around her. And I love the bit about where she's like, can I ask you a question? Are you a Gemini? And it's like, she's just clocked Kate for a Gemini. And when the first time I watched this episode, I was like, yeah, I agree. I think that's actually a good shout. Kate is a Gemini. And now
do we know Kate's birthday?
I'm going to put you through some astrology chat here.
Okay, great. I will try not to fall asleep.
So Kate is a self-proclaimed Gemini. Great. There's one other canonical Gemini on the show. I did not do this research myself, by the way. I found it on Reddit. So
okay, but you did research it.
I did research it, and I have to say, all the information that I will be sharing now is only based on characters that canonically have a birthday, or we know like roughly when their birthday is to be able to work out their horoscope. There were also a lot of people who obviously made statements about how they would interpret the characters, and I don't think that counts.
Okay, yes.
Our canonical Geminis on the show are Kate and
Can I guess
Locke.
who the other one is? Oh, okay, never mind.
Too late. I'll let you guess for the other ones. I think we could have been here for a while. I don't think you would have guessed Locke.
That's true. No.
I'm going to tell you some things that I read about Geminis. Curious, pick up knowledge quickly. They size people up quickly. Are responsive and sensitive listeners, afraid of being alone. A Gemini mind is an endless racetrack.
I mean, that does sound like Kate and Locke.
Yeah, I think if anything, it kind of puts into words the things that they have in common. So yeah, I thought that was kind of like actually surprisingly interesting. There are two other zodiac signs that have several characters that we canonically know
Great.
are that sign. Saeed, Claire, and Shannon canonically have the same sign. And I would ask you to guess if you were at all interested in this. But
yeah, I was going to say, can we do the guessing the other way? Can you, for the next lot, can you tell me the sign, read out the like characteristics of the sign, and then I'll guess which characters they are?
Sure, but I think that will be hard, but yes.
Okay. I'm very surprised that Saeed... I can... I don't know.
Yeah,
tell me the characteristics of Saeed,
they're an odd
Shannon, I did
grouping,
not
and
see
I would
them.
say that out of all of them, Shannon reads as the most classic Scorpio, because we're talking about Scorpios here.
Okay.
Saeed, Claire, and Shannon are Scorpios. Here is some information about them. They are psychological trapdoors, constantly scanning and reading other people, keenly aware
Definitely
of power.
sounds like Shannon.
Right? Perceptive. They fear vulnerability. They're able to be popular, but there is something very lonely about them.
Okay, who else do we have?
Okay, so now I'm going to give you... I'll give you the star sign and some descriptions, and you're going to tell me if you think of any characters that meet this.
Great.
We're talking Sagittarius.
Okay.
The ultimate empiricists, reckless in their pursuit of what they want, explorers with a relentless drive for freedom, magnanimous and worldly, aspirational, sets high, maybe even impossible goals and stops at nothing to achieve them.
Okay, I've got a few angles. Maybe Boone?
No, I mean, I don't know what Boone is. He's not on my list.
Oh, okay. How many characters do we have that are a Sagittarius?
3 that we've met, 2 that we haven't met yet.
Oh, okay, fun. One we haven't met. It's got to be Ben, surely.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So I'm also thinking maybe Sawyer?
No, he's not Sagittarius.
I don't think it sounds like Jack.
But what about when I said the ultimate empiricist? Did that not make you think, man of science?
Oh, that made me think I'm an idiot and don't really understand what empiricist means.
Oh. It's like that you have to see something to believe it, like the empirical method,
okay,
if you will.
Oh, that sounds like Jack.
Yeah. Also, what about people who set high, maybe even impossible goals and stop at nothing to achieve them?
Yes, I suppose. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Set high, set impossible goals. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I can see that for Jack.
All right. There's a couple of other guys. They're all men, actually, strangely.
That's because
well, I guess there's not that many women on the show.
Yeah, the show only cares about developing its men. I can't think of... Can you give me any of those characteristic things that specifically apply to any characters?
I think I'll just tell you the answer, to be honest.
Yeah, that sounds good.
The other characters that are canonically Sagittarius are Charlie.
Okay.
I don't really see it, to be honest. And Jin, maybe.
Okay, I guess.
And Desmond.
Yeah,
that's a rough one. I don't really feel that.
No.
This has been Astrology Corner.
Thank you. What
TM,
star sign are
Helen
you?
Jones TM. I'm a Taurus. Don't you know that about me?
No, very bullish.
Kind of, yeah. You know, so we're, you know, stubborn, don't like change. We're very grounded, like material things in life. Very sort of like, quite sort of like secure and stable type people. And like, yeah, sort of like our comforts, basically.
Very nice.
Does sound like me.
It does sound like you.
What is your star sign?
I'm a Libra.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm very balanced, conflict averse, and indecisive.
Yeah.
Does that sound like me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Libras are Libras are one of the signs that is very like easy to get on with. People generally like them. So I guess that's also true.
Oh, thanks. Okay, let's enough of that shit. Let's talk about Lost instead.
I think we need to backtrack to what I refer to in my notes as Watergate.
Very good, very good.
This initially shows up when Hurley and Charlie notice that there are only 18 bottles of water. It's running out quickly. People have just been taking it as they needed it because, hey, we thought we were going to get rescued. This is the moment where I have to place some blame at Charlie's feet for the cut-up water bottle situation, because he does say, he does raise the idea of even if we split the bottles up, they wouldn't be enough for 46 people. I'm like, I don't know who... If it was just talking about splitting the bottles up that gave someone the insane idea to physically cut them up. Was it you who did it, Charlie? I cannot know. We'll never know. Whoever it is, I despise them. Hit the cut up bottles jingle. No. Cut that bottle up. Who needs bottles when you got cups?
Jack, Hurley and Charlie are talking about the water bottles, and is this a good time for 3 people on screen?
That sounds good to me. 3 characters in a scene. You know what that means. It's time for Fuck, Marry or Kill. Fuck, Marry or Kill.
Okay, so we have to fuck, marry and kill Hurley, Charlie and Jack. And I think it's easy. Or not easy per se. I think
it's
I've come
not
to my
easy,
conclusion
really.
quite easy.
Okay, but tell me what you're thinking and I'll see how I'm thinking.
I think I'm gonna fuck Charlie.
Oh yeah, you have priors on this.
I think we have priors on this. And then I'm gonna marry Hurley because, sorry, good old fun time Hurley. I think it would be a great time.
Yes, marrying Hurley definitely seems like the easy part of this equation. I gotta fuck Jack.
You simply cannot let that hobbit into you.
I mean, because bear in mind, we're not talking about just purely like their appearance or anything. We're talking about the characters as they are at this time on the show. And I just find Charlie so not attractive. I really struggle to imagine that. And Jack, at least he has the sort of like, the kind of like standard, handsome, good looks that you could kind of make it work. You know, you would find something to latch onto. I don't like it, but it's my answer. I'm gonna marry Hurley, kill Charlie, and fuck Jack.
Okay, so a little bit later, Walt comes to get Kate because the pregnant lady fell down.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like, here we clearly see that, like, Jack is not there. In Walt's mind, next best option is Kate. She has the sort of, like, substitute leader role. Kate then goes to Locke. Yeah. See my previous point about Locke being the true leader, kind of...
Yeah. And Saeed is there as well.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, Locke says to the two of them, like, oh, you guys need to step up now and people will look to you when Jack's not here. I think Locke is very perceptive about these things, about the kind of the power dynamics in the group, the sort of interlocking relationships and things. And he clearly sort of is identifying Kate and Saeed as a kind of deputy to Jack's sheriff, if you will. Which Sawyer will also do later. Yeah. Locke also is strangely calm, which is pretty much his go-to mood. But it kind of adds to his overall sense of sort of like mystic. What's going on with this guy? What's his deal?
Yeah, I wondered if it was still like him basking in the afterglow of his encounter with the monster. Because also, like, he says he's going to go find Jack. And he's going to go, and he knows where he's going, and he's just sort of sauntering off. And, like, we see when he finds Jack, he is very calm, and they have this really calm conversation. And, like, I think he's just fully sold himself over to, like, everything is fine in this place.
Yeah, it's interesting, because when he says to Kate and Saeed, after all, I know what I'm looking for, where to look. He says, I know where to look. Yeah. And I thought he was talking about finding water. Because the problem that the islanders are experiencing is that they don't have water. It's not that they don't have Jack.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, he's just talking about that he has his like walkabout knowledge. He knows where to go look to find water.
Okay.
But there's an element of ambiguity to it, I guess.
Oh, then we have the really adorable scene between Charlie and Claire. So Charlie brings Claire some water, and they have simply the most adorable conversation, and it's like cute. It's sort of almost flirty, but not like flirty. It's just sort of cute flirty, and I love it. I love them.
Do you ship them?
I actually really do, especially like now. I think it's so sweet. And then he's like, "Oh, that geezer with his 400 knives. I only have space for 200 or 300 at most." And she does her little chuckle, and it's like, oh, that's so...
Yeah. No, they are very cute together. Yeah. And Charlie is sort of like wanting to step up in some way, wanting to be like a person that she can trust and talk to and count on.
Yeah.
Then we have the thing with the water when the group finds out that Sun and Jin have some water.
The Chinese people have water.
Oh, Hurley. Help.
We don't love that. And then yes. I don't love Saeed going like, "Where did you get this? Where did you get this? Where did you get this?" And Kate's like, she doesn't understand. She understands. Like, I hate this entire thing.
His interrogation skills leave a lot to be desired. I'll just say that. But I did like the bit where he's talking to Kate, and Kate's like, "Oh, Sawyer has the water." And Saeed's like, "No, don't go after him now. A rat will always lead you to his hole." And I was like, sure.
Why not? Yes, because eventually when Jin comes over and starts yelling, he then points at Sawyer, and that's when they're like, oh, Sawyer gave them the water. And then, is it not like immediately the next scene, they don't leave that thread at all? Saeed is like, "The rat will always lead you to its hole." And then the very next scene, Sawyer goes to...
He literally goes to his hole.
Goes to his hole.
Yeah, and we get a bit of a sexual tension moment between Kate and Sawyer where she leaps at him and sort of tackles him, but then he rolls over and is on top of her, and he's all... It's hot. I'm sorry, it's hot. They have chemistry, these two.
They do have chemistry, yes. And like the way he sort of like laughs in her face as she's doing it, and is like, "Oh, about time." Yeah. But
he doesn't have the water because he simply
water.
traded a couple of bottles for a fish.
Yeah.
Because he's in the wild, baby. Or what was it he said before?
I'm in the wild. Yeah, so he says he doesn't need water. It's going to rain sooner or later. And hell,
And I'm
an
optimist.
optimist.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yikes. It really might not rain for a while. That seems like a terrible decision, but sure.
Also, they've been there 6 days, and it has canonically rained on at least 2 of those days. So, like, that's not bad odds.
You're also an optimist, I guess. Next thing that happens within Watergate is we find out that Boone was the one who stole them. Wait, did we establish that the bottles were stolen? I think so.
Oh shit, no, we didn't. Oh my god. We sort of skipped from being like, oh, get us some water, to then Charlie giving her water. It turns out all the bottles of water are stolen.
It's fine. It's fine.
Everyone's seen the episode.
Everyone was very upset about it throughout, but it resolves itself in the end when we find out that it was Boone all along.
Yeah.
Why, Boone? Well...
Yeah, do we know why?
Unclear.
Like, it seems like at no point does he ever give a reason why he stole them, other than being like, oh, Jack was just leaving them there in the open. And it almost seems to me that it's just, like, revenge. Not revenge, but the only thing I can think is that it's like he's so angry at Jack for, like, fucking up his plan to rescue Joanna that he's like, Jack is a shit leader and I'm going to show everyone what a terrible leader Jack is. Which, like, I guess I can see why you might then be like, it's a bad idea to just leave these bottles out in the open. But then why would you steal them, not do anything with them, apart from give water to someone in the dead of night? And also not try and secretly give water to someone, but like wake her up and be like, hey, I got some water for you. Like, what? Yeah, what is the plan here? What are we doing?
I think basically what's going on with him is that there's a bit of what you said. Like, he very directly challenged Jack at the start of the episode and was like, you're not the only one who can make decisions. I run a business. And so he was like, oh, the water bottles are just being left here where anyone could come along and take them. That's not very responsible. I'm going to show that I have the capacity to be a leader by being the one who takes them and sort of like actually makes decisions and does something in this group. Where he fell down was then just not saying anything about it, not trying to deal with like distributing the water in a fair and reasonable way, but instead just kind of like, rather than like doing anything constructive, he's just like, oh, I'll just take them, and then there endeth the thought. So yeah, and I think it's a tough one for Boone, because he has this very like double side of his personality, where on the one hand he seems like a good guy, he seems like he wants to be making good decisions and helping the people who are kind of de facto in charge, but on the other hand he keeps doing this like weird suspicious stuff, like when he took the gun during the camping situation, and now that's what I'm kind of connecting it to, is that like we see one side of his personality and then suddenly he just does this stuff that is really weird and like incongruent, and it makes us think like, is he actually like a bad guy? Doesn't seem like a bad guy.
I don't know if we're meant to see him as a bad guy.
It just doesn't really make sense to me.
I feel like it's all like, I think we're meant to assume that it's all under like good well-intentioned, because like he takes the gun because someone was asleep with it. He takes the water because he doesn't think Jack's doing a good enough job. Like, I don't. But
those are two instances that reflect like kind of like the exact same pattern, right? He thinks that other people are not doing a good enough job at like being responsible and taking decisions. So he's like, well, I'll step up and I'll do it. But then he does it in a way that simply creates more conflict and more problems.
Yeah, because he does a shit job every time he does things.
Yeah, I guess that's the ultimate Boone signature.
Charlie drags him out of the tent and then pot kettle black when he's like, why'd you do it, pretty boy? I'm like, Charlie, I don't think you're in any position to be calling anyone pretty boy in a derogatory sense.
What do you mean? Because you think he's pretty?
Well, I would say like in terms of pretty, like when I think pretty boy, I think Charlie and Boone are the two closest on the island.
I'm sorry. There's no competition.
No?
Boone is a truly pretty boy. He's the prettiest boy. He's got the cheekbones, he's got the eyebrows, he's got the whole I'll soon be on the Vampire Diaries look about him.
I think if Charlie had a shave, you'd change your mind. But what do I know?
Have you noticed how short he is? Sorry. I mean, I don't know. You seem to have like a Charlie thing, but...
I do, which is odd because I've never really thought about it before, but it does seem to be a recurring theme, doesn't it?
I mean, Sawyer is also prettier than Charlie, I would say.
That's true. I guess also when I think pretty boy, I think like young twink. And I feel like Charlie and Boone are the closest we have to young twink. Sawyer is like slightly too old. So everyone just starts fighting, and then Jack comes back and we get the big speech. We've heard the speech. It's great. It's beautiful. We love it.
And, the day is saved. The water bottles are all cut up. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Diabolical. And that's the end of the episode. Right? I can't remember if anything happens at the very end.
Oh, there's the little all the cutscenes of everyone like having their own water, and
Vincent.
Yeah,
Vincent gets water
because Walt's asleep, and Michael's like, "Well, fuck this kid. Then if he's asleep, he doesn't need any water," and gives it to the dog instead. But then we also see Sun and Jin, and she says, "Thank you for getting me water," and he says, "That's what husbands do." And again, I think we're seeing like deeper elements of their relationship, and it's still very like typical macho patriarchal, like I am husband, I take care of you, but we do see that it's not like a cut and dry, they don't really like each other and he's like abusive towards her and has no regard for her at all. He is still like, I care about you and I'm getting water for you because like I'm going to do, of course I'm going to do that and get some water and look out for you. And, I think it can't be too long before we learn quite a bit more about the two of them.
I think it's next episode, isn't it?
I think it is.
Nice.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Sweet. Time to backtrack to some of our regular programming points.
My favourite parts.
We occasionally, at least one previous episode, we talked about the Bechdel test. So I'm trying to make a bit more of a attempt to notice which episodes pass the Bechdel test. And this one does when Kate and Claire talk about sorting clothes.
Yes. Very good.
I think that's the only time.
Yeah.
We also have Connor's Corner. Do we have Connor's Corner for this week?
Okay, we do actually have Connor's Corner live and direct from the bathtub where I checked in with him.
If you want aviation or medical information, welcome to Connor's Corner.
So I asked him if they do indeed put dead bodies onto commercial passenger planes, and his answer is yes. Where else would they go? So there we go.
It's iconic. Great.
The expert has spoken. He also has some real difficulties with Jack being a doctor, and with his like confidence issues. And his point of view is, why would you do a job where you can like fail so spectacularly and fuck up so badly? If you've got this many issues around your confidence and whether you are up to the job, if you have what it takes, then like why would you go somewhere where you have like medical issues and deeply stressful time intensive situations and people's lives in your hands?
Fair.
Yes. So he is hoping that maybe we see some nepotism that gives Jack his doctor profession, because he's like, this guy would not just become a doctor on his own back. That's the end of Connor's Corner.
Then let us finish off as we always do with a hot ranking.
Woo!
Hot can be physical, hot can be emotional, hot is whatever we decide, and everyone's attractive, but who's top of the ranking? Who's the hottest one on this island? So I'll just recap previously on hot ranking.
Previously on hot.
Thank you. We had Saeed, Kate, Sun, Boone, Claire, Shannon. Now, I think actually...
Wow, could you be any more derisive of Shannon? My hot ranking this week don't hold it against me, is Charlie.
Oh,
But
I don't hold it against you. I know it's your thing.
It's a sweet hot ranking, and it's mostly for that scene between him and Claire. Like, he knows how to be calm, and he's making jokes, but not like dismissive jokes of her situation, just like helping to ground her and calm her. And then it obviously is working with her, and she is very taken with him. And as she points out, she's like, "You're the only one that looks me in the eye. Everyone is kind of scared of me." And I'm like, "Oh, good job, Charlie. You're a good man this week."
That's nice. That's very nice.
Who have you got? Who is your hot pick of the week?
I think that the moment between Kate and Sawyer was very hot.
That is true.
Sawyer didn't do anything morally wrong this episode. So it might be time to introduce Sawyer to the hot ranking. Okay. And what my suggestion is that, given that you're bringing in Charlie, Shannon is currently like at the bottom because she got demoted due to poor choices. And I would also suggest that maybe we demote Boone for his poor choices.
Okay, yeah.
Before we put Sawyer in the mix, we've got to figure out where he goes. The list is going to be Saeed, Kate, Sun, Claire, and then we put in Charlie, the newcomer, and then we have the demoted Shannon and then Boone. And now it's like, do we just let Sawyer kind of come in from the bottom, as has been sort of standard?
Entering the chart from the bottom of the good people.
Yeah. Boone and Shannon are definitely downgraded. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm all right with bringing in Sawyer at the same level as Charlie, but that does mean I'm going to put him above Charlie in terms of hotness, just objectively.
Fine. I'll give you the final word there.
Then we have our list. It will be on Instagram, I guess.
Great.
And that's the last thing we do.
Instagram at Dharma Fish Biscuits Pod. Send us emails. Tell us what you think. Tell us your star sign, but do it in 50 words or less so that I care.
I mean, tell us your star sign, but like put a little Lost spin on it if you can.
Oh yeah. Also talk to us about Lost. That would be my preference.
Leave a review.
Oh yes, leave a review.
And our next episode will be out in 2 weeks, when we will be discussing The House of the Rising Sun. This has been Dharma Fish Biscuits.
I'm Alex.
I'm Helen.
I'll see you in another life, Helen.
I'll see you in another life, brother.